see what we've got here. Yeah, it's wrong again. Okay, now that's better. Okay, well, I guess I get to start all that over again because my microphone was not responding properly. Okay, so to start over again, I'm going to try starting out tonight with how I should start out my sessions. Again, my name is Mike Jerry, and we're going to show you some shots of the sky from here in the Death Valley region of California, where it's a beautiful night. We might have a little bit of a breeze here or there, but it should be pretty light. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. But this is the setup that I use to collect the images that we're going to see tonight. It is a 6-inch f4 imaging Newtonian, so it's a simple reflector telescope. And basically it has a mirror on the back here, so the light comes in the front, bounces off that, hits a 45-degree mirror here, bounces up into the focuser, up into where you could put an eyepiece, but I put a camera instead up here, and then the camera is connected to this laptop, and then which allows us to see what the camera and telescope are seeing. So that is what's going to be bringing us our images tonight. Let me make sure that I'm still, our microphone is now working. Good. That's a good thing. Okay, so that is my setup, and so tonight we're going to be doing some continuing on some galaxies, and because it is galaxy season, we have lots and lots of galaxies up there this time of the year, and so we're going to see a whole bunch of them. We'll get this started, and then I'll show you what it is we're going to be looking at. Alright, there's that, and then I need to do this, and turn this on, and turn this on, and come back here, and then this needs to stretch and get out of the way. Okay, and so while that's doing that, let me go to here, and let me size this down a bit so that you can see all of it. And that golden rectangle you see there, that yellowish gold rectangle, is the field of view of my camera as represented in the Planetarium software. And so first the targets we're going to look at is M95 and M96, pair of galaxies right there. And they should be showing up here in our view really soon. And to show you where we are in the sky, this is the meridian, so this is straight up. And so we're in the constellation of Leo here. And so we're going to do these galaxies right underneath Leo's belly. There's the mane of the lion right here. If you look straight up, if you're on the Pacific time zone anyway, you look straight up, he's pretty much straight up above us. And so that's where we're going to start today. And there's our first two, M95 and M96. So let's get this stuff color balanced and make it so we can see these babies. Okay. So there's a pair of galaxies together. So I'll let those build a few frames in. Click the... Did that do anything? No, it didn't. Boy, just really slow to respond. Anyway, so there we have M95 up top and M96 down on the bottom. And you can see all these other little lavender and yellow circles are other galaxies. This is why it's called galaxy season. This is an extremely rich part of the sky that's loaded with galaxies, and and this is pretty much straight up this time of the year, so it's what's called galaxy season. So we're gonna see the biggest, brightest ones, but there's in almost every field of view that we will look at tonight, there will be just littered with all kinds of galaxies. And Oliver says, Guten Morgen from Germany. Hey, good to see you, Oliver. Yeah, I guess it must be pretty darn early. What are you, 8, 9 hours ahead? So it's what, 5 or 6 a.m. for you right now on a Saturday morning? Guten Morgen to you indeed. I'm glad you stopped in. Yeah, it has been a while. Okay, and let's... Okay, you're rolling along good. The guiding is going good. Alright, I think we are... yeah. Oops, I want wrong window. That window's what I want, because we're going to start the background music. So we have that going when I don't talk, especially on nights when it's breezy here. I tend to keep the mic turned off just so you're not being constantly annoyed by the noise of the wind on my microphone. But 6 a.m. Germany time. Well, thanks for getting up early to show up for my live stream. Mighty nice of you. Alright, in the meantime, let me get Wikipedia going here so we can... Okay, let's start with the one at the top, SCA 95. A barred spiral galaxy that's about 33 million light years away. It was discovered by Pierre Marchand in 1781 and catalogued by Charles Messier 4 days later. It had its most recent supernova, well, the most recent one we saw was in 2012. So this is M95. So this is the one up here that we're talking about right now. Yeah, obvious, very obvious barred spiral there, right? The bar right in the center. Almost looks like two rings, an inner ring and then sort of an outer ring, which happens fairly frequently. Last week we saw a couple like that, with an inner and outer ring to the stars. No, that ain't gonna do it. Was waiting for good weather all night in vain. Oh, so you haven't even been to bed yet? You stayed up all night hoping for good weather and didn't get squat, huh? Sorry to hear that. And still you stay up for my broadcast. Well, of course, here I am thinking you're staying up just for my broadcast. Probably a little bit arrogant on my part, but whatever. I can wish for that. Okay, the galaxy has a morphological classification of SBRB, which means it's a barred spiral with arms that are indeterminate on the scale from tightly to loosely wound. And the R means an inner ring surrounding the bar, which is kind of what I was saying here, where you've got this almost solid ring right here. The latter is a ring-shaped circumnuclear star-forming region with a diameter of approximately 2,000 light-years. The spiral structure extends outward from that ring. So these spiral arms here extend out from that inner ring. Let's see, then they talk a little bit about one of several galaxies within the M96 group of galaxies in the constellation Leo. Yeah. Anyway, so this is about 33 million light years away, which is not exactly close, but certainly not one of the far ones either. We will see some tonight that'll be 100 million, or, well, at least 60 to 80 million, let's put it that way. If not triple digits. That's M95. Pretty cool inner structure and an obvious bar to it. And as we get several more sub-exposures several more frames in. Hopefully we'll pull a little more detail out of it. In the meantime, we can go down and check out our other friend, M96. Boy, they're very similar. Again, with a bar. This bar isn't quite as obvious, but again, an inner ring and an outer ring. So that's kind of interesting. Okay, let's see what 96. This one's about 30 million light years, 31 million, so it's just a tiny bit closer. A couple million light years. Again, Pierre Marchand in 1781 discovered it, and then Charles Messier confirmed it a few days later and added it to his catalog of nebulous objects that were not comets. Finding this object is burdensome with large binoculars. Ideal minimum resolution on a good sky is a telescope of 10-inch aperture to reveal its 3x5 arc-minute halo with a brighter core region. But of course we are using a much smaller telescope, but we're cheating and we're using a camera that is nice and sensitive, and we can hold 60-second or longer exposures. And boy, we got a satellite just photobombed right through there, didn't it? Yeah. Happens a lot these days. It's categorized as a double barred spiral with a small inner bulge though the core along with a small inner bulge through the core along with an outer bulge. The nucleus displays a weak level of activity. Ultraviolet emissions from the core suggest the presence of a supermassive black hole. Messier 96 is about the same mass and size as the Milky Way. So our own galaxy is we're about the same size. It's very asymmetric. It's a very asymmetric galaxy as dust and gas are unevenly spread throughout its weak spiral arms. And its core is just offset from the midpoint of its extremes. Its arms are also asymmetrical, thought to have been influenced by the gravitational pull of other galaxies within its group. 31 million light years away for this one. Yeah, see, that bar looked kind of obvious, but I guess they're saying they're considering it as more than one. A double barred spiral. Categorized as a double barred spiral galaxy with a small inner bulge through the core along with an outer bulge. Not sure what they mean by inner bulge and outer bulge, but both a little over 30 million light years away. Well, I'm glad I was here to save your day, although your day is just starting. But yeah, well, we'll definitely get some nice stuff in tonight. It's looking like a beautiful night. We may see, like I said, a little bit of a breeze, brief light breezes popping up here or there. In fact, this weekend it's supposed to just blow like crazy here. It's supposed to be a dust storm all weekend, so tonight is kind of it for our weekend. Everybody's getting out and doing everything they can tonight because the rest of the weekend is going to be 40+ mile-an-hour wind gusts, which means there'll be plenty of dust in the air. So, but tonight, it's just absolutely beautiful. Probably still in the 70s right now at 9 p.m. and just a beautiful night. Just a beautiful spring night here. So, had those two some weeks ago with the C8 and a 294. Yeah. Yep. 294. Venerable old camera just like my 183. 294 is good for long focal length, and the 183 with its small pixels is good for the short focal length, so that's the one I use. Alright, let's see what's going on with 95 up here. Yeah, see, this one has definitely more defined single bar right here. Starting to pick up a little more detail in the arms and whatnot as well. You are doing now what I could not do for the bad weather in Germany, and probably will have to postpone for the next year. Well, I don't know. You think you're going to not have any good weather for the next month or so? This stuff will be high in the sky for a while yet. Hopefully you'll get a night in somewhere. Well, I certainly hope you get a decent night in, because the galaxy season will last for a little while yet. So I hope you'll get some good skies yet. Five EAA nights in all of. So far in 2024, you've had 5 nights in total. And that's only one a month. That's not great. Well, hopefully summer will be better for you. I don't know, in some places winter is better than summer, in some places summer's better than winter. So, I don't know. M95 and 96. Both of them have satellites running around in them. Let's see how many. Well, I guess we got 3. 1, 2, 3. But you can see, here's another little guy down here. Zoom into this little guy. Hey, we got another little guy right there. Nice little spiral galaxy in there. If you spend a while on him, we might even be able to see some structure in these arms. Definitely see the core. It's definitely a spiral galaxy. That's pretty cool. There's one there. They're just all over the place. Galaxies galore. Alright, M96. Definitely see that ring. Nice core. Definitely asymmetrical, not a clearly defined core like with 95. But nice outer rings and stuff. Stretch it a little more. Don't like stretching it too much because it just gets so grainy. Wrong way. No, anyway. And M95. Yeah, this is definitely a bit sharper and more detailed. Got the blue star-forming regions in here. But a nice sharp core on this, and a bar that's pretty well defined. Whereas 96 is just much more mushy. Much mushy. Okay, let's move on to our next two. And so our next two are going to be right up, just barely out of the view of these. So we will get up here and there and get this next nice little group here. Get this little group here. I shouldn't need to plate solve on that because that was such a short hop. Should be able to do that without too much troubles. You can probably hear or see that my signal is a little bit choppy at times out here in the middle of the desert. Wonderful skies for astronomy, not so great for excellent internet signal, however. So every now and again the video may get a little choppy, but I think my audio usually stays connected pretty consistently. Okay, so what do we got in here? We got M105 and a couple of NGCs in here. Well, let's try Messier 105 and see. 105. Okay. Pretty tight little batch here. Tight group. Yeah, CM105 will be the top one up there. Sort of just an elliptical. It's an elliptical galaxy 36.6 million light years away, so just a little bit further away than the last two we looked at. It's the biggest elliptical galaxy in the Messier catalog. That is not in the Virgo cluster, I was going to say. M87. Virgo A is a massive elliptical galaxy. Anyway, this was discovered by Pierre Marchand again in 1781, just a few days after he discovered the nearby galaxies of M95 and 96, which we just looked at. This galaxy is one of a few not object verified by Messier, so omitted in the editions of his catalog of his era. It was appended when Helen S. Hogg found a letter by Marchand locating and describing this object, which matched those aspects under its first published name, NGC 3379. So, somehow a letter from Pierre Marchand, who discovered it, got it added to Charles Messier's catalog. Anyway, so it's one, which is why it's a high number, 105. Basically, Charles Messier, when he died, his catalog was 103 objects in size, and then posthumously, Helen Hogg went through, and other astronomers went through his notes and things and discovered several more objects that he had actually described and had seen, but just didn't formally add to his catalog. And so those several objects were added posthumously, and so now his catalog is actually 110 objects in size. And so anything after M103 was added after he had already passed. And so this is M105 up here. And one of those later galaxies. As an elliptical, it doesn't really have much structure. It's just sort of a blob of light. This one has a fairly bright core. Some of them don't even have, they're just like big blobs of light. And they're not terribly interesting to look at, quite honestly. They're large galaxies, but they're not really all that interesting to look at. It has a morphological classification of E1, which indicates a standard elliptical galaxy with a flattening of 10%. So it has basically flattened out a little bit. and starting, I guess, to turn into more of a flat spiral galaxy like the Milky Way and like the two galaxies that we've seen, we were just seeing, and which means a little bit like this one here. There is no fine structure apparent in the outer portion of the galaxy. This galaxy is known to have a supermassive black hole with its core, whose mass is estimated to be, well, a lot of million solar masses. The galaxy has a weak active galactic nucleus. This galaxy, along with its companion, the barred lenticular galaxy NGC 3384, which I believe is this one right here, confirm that with the annotation. Wow. I guess we better replate solve that. Because yeah, it's off just a little. Okay, that's better. And so they're saying it's what did it say? 3384, which is not either one of these. Not sure where 3384 is. 3384. I don't see 3384. Nope, I don't see 3384, so I'm not sure where that is. Oh well, doesn't matter. Anyway, these two galaxies are surrounded by an enormous ring of neutral hydrogen with a radius of 650,000 light years. Oh, I see. 33. This is 3384. Why does this have two numbers? 3371, 3384. Well, this one has two numbers as well. Why would these have multiple NGC numbers? Why would these have more than one number in the same catalog? That's, M105 is supposed to be 3379, right? Let's see if it says. William Herschel, 3384, the second one down here, was discovered by William Herschel, 1784. Why did Marchand discover this one and not this one? I don't know. 3 years earlier. There's not much written here about it. I don't know why it's got two numbers. But William Herschel put it in his catalog. Oh, hey Curtis. Good evening. Oh, thanks, Kevin. Yeah. You'll see that it skips every here and there. Like if you watch the camera progress, the camera bar progress, it's supposed to be moving nice and smoothly, but every once in a while it'll stop and then boom, it'll jerk, which means the frame's dropped for a few seconds. So that's probably all you'll notice with what we're doing, because I'm basically just using still frames, not real quote-unquote real live video. You may not notice it that much. And like I said, even though the video gets jerky, the audio tends to stay going in real time. So it's usually only a minor inconvenience and doesn't disrupt things too much. But I do have middle of the desert internet, so sometimes it's a little spotty. The top galaxy is 3384 according to Stellarium. The top galaxy. M105 is 3384? Did I say a number wrong? No, that's 3379. 3384 is down here, 3389. But they have two numbers. This one also is 3371 and 3373. So, that's kind of odd. I don't know, whatever catalog SharpCap is using for the annotation seems to have more than one NGC number for each of these objects, which is a little bit odd. The most interesting one here, honestly, is this one down here, where you can see clearly we've got a spiral going on of some kind. What did we say the number of this was? 3389 or 3373. Let's see if we can. NGC 3389. Okay, how about 3373? Neither one. $33.73, right? Did I get that right? Yeah, $33.73 or $33.89. Yeah, I don't get a Wikipedia entry for either one of them. Oh well. Top galaxy is 3384, according to Stellarium. Okay. Well, yeah. In the Stellarium view, where in the Stellarium view, this one is the top one, but in my view, M105 is the top one. So yes, I think we're agreeing with the same thing. Just in Stellarium, at least my version of Stellarium, you can see that they're rotated 90 degrees clockwise in Stellarium. But this one is 3389. Really get any, does it have a distance? That says 80 million light years. Really? 26 million? Oh, that's interesting. And M105 is, again, yeah, 31. So this one is by far the closest. This one is 80 million light years away. This one is more than double. It's 2.5 times further away than these two. So that's interesting. This galaxy obviously must be a very big, galaxy. Oh, don't apologize, Oliver. That's fine. I'm glad. I make mistakes all the time. So please check me on stuff. But in this case, yeah, that's just what happened. The view is just rotated. In Stellarium, is all. Well, if you look at the yellow box, see the yellow box says like this. So this is how we're supposed to be. This is the landscape view here, and so anyway, the whole thing is just rotated in Stellarium. But yeah, so that's very interesting about this view is that this galaxy is 2.5 times further away than these are. These are much, much closer at 25 to 30 million light years away, and this one's 80 million. So, obviously a much bigger, brighter galaxy than these two little guys here. So that's kind of interesting. I wish we had a better view of... I wish I had more information on 3389, but I don't. The only thing I've got is what's in Stellarium. Here comes that breeze again. Let's see, as our next group cross the meridian, yes, yay! So now we'll actually get to do the Leo trio itself. The famous Leo trio. So we'll do those next. Actually, we might pop down and do a couple other things down here first. In fact, I should change my view. see, there's a couple things down here that, not that one. The Spindle Galaxy. That's a fun one. We'll do that one next. We'll do another minute or so on this, and then we'll go down and do the Spindle Galaxy. Then we'll come back up and do the Leo Trio. What we're really waiting for is this group of galaxies here to cross the meridian, which they will start doing in about 45 minutes or so. So we want a couple, 3 more objects to look at on this side here to give that time to cross the meridian here in the next 45 minutes or so, and then we can start picking these off as they come across the meridian, so I don't have to keep flipping back and forth across the meridian, which, for those of you who are unfamiliar with equatorial mounts, means the whole mount needs to shift and move all the way over to the other side. A little bit annoying. It's just easier if you can stay on one side than the other. I mean, honestly, with the modern motorized controlled mounts, it's really not an issue. Just have to be careful you don't tangle any cords. But still, it's nice to be able to stay on one side. Anyway, M105 and then its companions here, one of which is only visually a companion. This one is actually very far away, and that's kind of cool. It's an interesting looking galaxy. Wish I could see more of it, but yeah, that's pretty interesting. That's a pretty interesting looking galaxy down there. Okay, in the meantime, let's go to our next objet, which is going to be, yeah, I think we're going to, let's just do the spindle. Let's do the spindle, and we'll come back and do the Leo Trio. Oh yeah, you can see it right there. Probably just going to zik right up into that. Okay, let's see how our spindle galaxy looks. In a lot of our views tonight, we'll be able to see more than one significantly sized galaxy. In almost, as I said, in almost all these views, there's going to be lots of galaxies. Just most of them are going to be really, really teeny tiny and virtually indistinguishable from stars. But they're actually galaxies. It's a very rich, very, very rich part of the sky. So as I said, this is the meridian is straight up. The meridian is exactly the halfway point across the sky. That's what the red line is. So these red circles are galaxies. And I have them filtered way back so that only the biggest and brightest ones show. If I were to turn off that filtering, that's what it would look like. We can zoom out a little bit here, though. It's just an extremely rich concentration of galaxies is high overhead this time of year in the late spring and early summer. So this is why we call it galaxy season. And this is also why I keep these things filtered way back, because otherwise you can't even tell what the heck you're seeing in that ocean of red. But this way, we have a little control over what we're seeing there. Oh, good. We got... Alright, let's... synchronize you into there. Alright, there's a spindle. A spindle galaxy. And you can see, obviously, there's another one there. A couple more here. Almost a UFO flying saucer looking thing there. Back it off a little bit to get it a little less noisy. Till we get a few more subs in. But yeah, we've also got another galaxy there. this is. That's a PGC. It's a Mag 12.5 galaxy. Yeah, see, there we go. Mag 16, Mag 17. Ooh, another little spiral here. PGC, Mag 17. That little smudge there's another one. Spindle Galaxy. Mr. Bahu, welcome to my broadcast. I guess you found me after all. So let's see, what do we got? This is, how'd you see 3115? Let's see what we can see. Let's see if 3115. See what Wikipedia has to say about 3115. It's a field lenticular galaxy in the constellation Sextans. The galaxy was discovered by William Herschel, 1787. And it's about 32 million light years away from Earth, so about the same as M95 and M96 that we saw a little bit ago, and about the same distance away, so kind of in the same, maybe even the same group. It's several times bigger than the Milky Way. It's a lenticular galaxy because it contains a disk and a central bulge of stars, but without a detectable spiral pattern. It's seen almost exactly edge-on, but was nevertheless misclassified as elliptical. There is some speculation that 3115 in its youth was a quasar. A quasar becomes a galaxy? That's interesting. NGC 3115 has consumed most of the gas of its youthful accretion disk. It has very little gas and dust left that would trigger new star formation. The vast majority of its component stars are very old. It has a supermassive black hole in it that measured. The central black hole has a mass measured approximately to 1 billion solar masses. So the mass of 1 billion times of our sun. Interesting. 31 million light years away. So I was going to ask where you are. Out in the dark somewhere, huh? Are you out somewhere near Havasu like you were planning on going to? Forget what the name of the camp was, but you said you were headed out there somewhere near the Colorado River region. Find some dark skies with your little sea star. Okay. Spindle Galaxy. Yeah, definitely got a nice little bulge formed in there. Wonder how they determine with an edge-on galaxy that there's no spiralness to the arms. It would seem that you wouldn't be able to tell if it's directly edge-on, but maybe they use mirrors. Who knows? Going after ANR. Going after ANR. Now, is that a typo? I'm going to assume that's a typo. I'm not sure what ANR would stand for. That's probably an auto-corrupt typo. Oh geez, I'm being rebroadcast. Hi David. I guess NSN has come to my little YouTube channel. I'm being rebroadcast on NSN. How does that work? Oh, you got your two window thing going there, huh, David? That must be what it is. Well, as you can see, we are currently on the Spindle Galaxy. And the blue is always too high. Well, in this case, actually, it's a little low. Why don't you just balance the colors? Try that for a size. Yeah, balance the colors. That works well to balance the colors usually. Yeah. Well, hello to everybody on NSN, which is where I normally broadcast, is on Night Skies Network, which is a great place to broadcast with a great group of folks on there. But, you know, every once in a while, feeding my YouTube channel is a fun thing to do too, so got to come over here now and again. 32 million light years away. Lenticular. What do they call it? A field lenticular galaxy. Field lenticular galaxy. A disk and a central bulge, but without a detectable spiral pattern in the disk. So, field lenticular. Oop, laptop needs food. I gotcha. Well, so far we're doing real well with the weather here. They certainly had threatened some little bit of light breezes, but so far it's just been, my biggest issue is the mosquitoes. And I'll take that over wind anytime. That is the one good thing about wind in the summer is mosquitoes. It keeps knocks mosquitoes down. This looks like an airplane. That's a pretty big bright streak. I guess it could have been a meteor or something. It's pretty bright. It almost looks like it's got color in it. All the time with his little sea star, and just image captures all over the place, Southern California. And so sounds like tonight he stayed a little closer to home, but normally he drives all over the place to try and find darker skies than what he gets around his home base. Although he hasn't made it up here yet. Although one of these days I want to have to come down to you and help you drag that rainbow out of the garage and get that thing working. Alright, we'll do another minute or so on this guy here, and we'll on at 31:15, and yeah, I know you will. I know you'll get up here eventually. There's no drive too big for you. And we're actually only about 4 hours apart, I think. Maybe less. 3.5. So, one of these days I'll have to get down to you. Alright, so the Spindle Galaxy. So now I think we'll actually just pop back up here and hit the Leo trio real quick. This is a really cool trio of galaxies, obviously. You pick the right star to center them on, and you get all three of them. So we'll let this frame finish, and then we'll pop up there and catch it. Try to keep my microphone out of my breath path, but near my mouth so you can hear me. Alright, Spindle Galaxy, 32 million light years away. Now we'll go up into the Leo trio. Always a fun one this time of year. Very straight up, but still staying on the western side of the mount. Okay. Get this going. MSA 65 and 66. These are also about 30 to 35 million light years away. I think these are all pretty similar in terms of their distance. 65 is 35 million light years away. What is 66? 31 million. Okay. So 66 is actually a little bit closer than 65. Yeah, so 66 is a little bit closer than 65. Just a little bit. Anyway, 66. It's an intermediate spiral. They don't call it a barred spiral, but sure looks like one to me. 66 is a yes. Yeah, so this is 66 down here. See, this definitely looks like a barred spiral to me, but they don't call it a barred spiral. They just call it an intermediate spiral. Discovered by Charles Messier in 1780, who describes it as very long and very faint. It's a member of a small group of galaxies that includes M65 and NGC 3628, known as the Leo triplet, or the M66 group. M65 and 66 are a common object for amateur astronomer observation, being separated by only 20 arc minutes. M66 has a morphological classification indicating a spiral shape with a weak bar feature, so they do consider it as a bar, and loosely wound arms. It is receding away from us with a heliocentric radial velocity of 700 kilometers a second. It's about 95,000 light years across, which is a bit, well, it's about the same size as the Milky Way. Gravitational interaction from its past encounter with neighboring NGC 3628, which is this guy down here, which we'll look at in a minute. This is a very cool galaxy. has resulted in extremely high central mass concentration, a high molecular to atomic mass ratio, and a resolved non-rotating clump of hydrogen material. The latter feature shows up visually as an extremely prominent and unusual spiral arm and dust lane structures, as originally noted in the Atlas of Peculiar Galaxies. So the fact that it's kind of stretched out weirdly here is due to its gravitational interaction with 3628 here, or the Hamburger Galaxy. But it's definitely got some, you know, this side's definitely kicked out a lot further than this side, so it's been sort of mushed a little bit out of shape because of its because of its interaction with one of the trio. Thanks, Curtis. Appreciate the compliment. I've got a really good night, so yeah. In fact, it's nice and calm here right now, and which means guiding is good, so I'll be able to pick up some decent detail. We need to be doing some color balancing and some repositioning here. We are definitely clipping our blacks. M66, definitely a barred structure, and you can see certainly a lot of structure and texture in these clouds. So definitely a nice one there. Now 65, let's take a look at this. Much more of a swirly spiral structure on this guy. And again, this one's a few million light years further away. You guys are all good. Yes, you are. Excellent. So a few million light years further away. I don't think they seem to indicate that it was actually interacting with 66 and 3628. It's an intermediate spiral, about 35 million light years away, within its highly equatorial southern half. Oh, the constellation Leo, yeah. It was discovered by Charles Messier in 1780 with M66 and NGC 3628. It was discovered by Charles Messier, included in his objects list. However, William Henry Smythe accidentally attributed the discovery to Pierre Marchand in his popular 19th century astronomical work, A Cycle of Celestial Objects. The error was in turn picked up by Kenneth Glyn Jones in Messier's Nebula and Star Clusters, as has since ramified into a number of other books by a variety of authors. This galaxy is low in dust and gas, and there is little star formation in it. In many wavelengths, it is quite uninteresting, though there is a radio source visible, offset in the core by about 2 arc minutes. The identity of the source is uncertain, as it has not been identified visually or formally studied in any published papers. It could be the aliens, man. To the eye, M65's disk appears slightly warped, and its relatively recent burst of star formation is also suggestive of some external disturbances. Someone has suggested that the 2 other galaxies in the Leo trio interacted with each other about 800 million years ago. Recent research suggests that M65 may also have interacted, though much less strongly. It's also noted that M65 may have a central bar. It's difficult to tell because the galaxy is seen from an oblique angle, a feature which is suggestive of tidal disruption. So, They're speculating that maybe it could have interacted with these three, but well, visually they're certainly together in space, but it looks like, well, this one's certainly, 65 is certainly a few million light years further away, but they could have interacted quite a while ago, so who knows. But it's kind of a neat structure. Definitely got some dark dust lanes in here swirling around. So it's kind of neat. Yeah, you're staying pretty good now. Alright, and then the last one over here, the last member of the trio, NGC 3628, Hamburger Galaxy. This one is just very interesting to look at. Stretch it a little more, squeeze a little more out of it, even though it might get a little grainy. It's not quite as bright as the other two, but boy, it's got a lot. Just got a lot of interesting stuff going on. We're looking at obviously nearly perfectly edge on, and it's just a cool looking galaxy with looking right at the dust lane right along the edge of it. Let's see what Wikipedia has to say about 3628. Also known as the Hamburger Galaxy or Sarah's Galaxy. It's an unbarred spiral. How do they tell that it's unbarred? About 35, so again 35 million light years away. I think so. It's about the same amount as same distance as M65 is. Even though they say that this interacted with 66, which is only 31 or 32 million light years away. It's discovered by William Herschel in 1784 as approximately 300,000 light years. It has an approximately 300,000 light years long tidal tail. Along with M65 and M66, it forms the Leo triplet. Its most conspicuous feature is the broad and obscuring band of dust located along the outer edge of its spiral arms, effectively transecting the galaxy to the view from Earth. Due to the presence of an X-shaped bulge visible in multiple wavelengths, it has been argued that NGC 3620 is instead a barred spiral galaxy with the bar seen end on. Simulations have shown that bars often form in disk galaxies during interactions and mergers, and NGC 3628 is known to be interacting with its two large neighbors. So in this one it's saying it's interacting with both of them. And the other one it said it was interacting with 66, but maybe not 65. The name Hamburger Galaxy is a reference to its shape resembling a hamburger, while the name Sarah's Galaxy is thought to refer to poet Sarah Williams, 1837 to 1868, most famous for the poem The Old Astronomer. Though my soul may set in darkness, it will rise in perfect light. I have loved the stars too truly to be fearful of the night. Sarah Williams, 1837 to 1868. Wow, she lived to be a whopping 31 years of age. Anyway, all three galaxies are just pretty darn cool. All three are pretty darn cool. to have all three of them in one view at the same time pretty darn convenient. Let's push the stretch a little more. Give us more light. More light, more light. Without more noise, more noise. Fun galaxy. Thanks, Paulette. Thanks for tuning in. This is called NGC 3628, or the Hamburger Galaxy. So named because of the dark dust lane that's on the outside of it. We're seeing it edge on, so it kind of bisects the brighter bulge and central core of the galaxy itself. Curtis asks, what do you use the unsharp mask, the luminance channel? Well, I can show you what I have it set for. Yeah, so I don't have luminance only checked. I tried playing with that and it didn't really do much. Although I don't know if you can do it after a stack has already been started, or if this only takes effect at the beginning of a stack. I don't know. I'm not sure what that's about, but I have left it unchecked to this point, so I'm not. I don't know if that answers your question. I should try it again. How come? What does it do? Alright, let's take one more look. So, M66, nice little barred spiral. Got some nice texture in the outer arms. Yeah, it sharpens things up, but, well, it should, that unsharp mask should sharpen things up whether that's checked or not. So what's the difference between having it checked and not having it checked? Both of them, I would assume, sharpen things up. Yeah, see, so whether this is checked or not, it should still unsharp masking. The question is, what does luminance only do that having it unchecked doesn't do? What's the difference between them? Lots of texture in that, some color too. Darker regions, bluer regions. Nice core. Got the bar in there. That's pretty nice. And M65 with its dust lane around the edges. This is what we're seeing with the Hamburger Galaxy on the but we're seeing that completely edge on. This one we're kind of seeing a bit looking over the top of it a little bit. But we still got that nice dust lane that with the Hamburger Galaxy we're looking at directly edge on, and this is actually bisecting the whole bright central bulge and core. And so this is sort of the slightly above view. And then the hamburger, which is big enough that you got to back off a little bit on this one. That's just a fun one. That's just a fun one. Let's see where we are right now. The other stuff crossed the meridian yet? Almost, not quite. Oh, hey Greg. Welcome to the broadcast. With luminance only allows one to sharpen a lot without blowing out the brightness. Then you can use a little bit of the blur to remove the noise. Okay, well, on the next one we will try checking. In fact, I'll just do it now, and we'll see if we notice any difference on the next stacks we do. Yes, it is. This is the Leo triplet, Paulette. So this is all three of them right together, and we're just doing them all in one go, but they are right together, and they are, so this is the constellation Leo right here, the lion's mane, the body and his tail, and so the Leo trio is right underneath sort of where his hind legs would be. And there's a couple more galaxies that are pretty cool here, which we've already just saw just a few minutes ago. So we're basically watching these cool galaxies, killing time, letting this group here cross the meridian, so we can start picking those off as they come across the meridian. They're getting pretty close now, but got anything else? Oh, the little pinwheel. Yeah, we could try the little pinwheel. That'd be fun to do. It's not too far away. We could try the little pinwheel next. But yes, this is the Leo trio, and or the Leo triplet. A nice grouping of galaxies. Three interesting galaxies, all sort of distinct in the way they look, and all of them having their own unique interest and texture. So it's almost cloudy in its spiral arms and swirling out. It almost looks like cloudy clumps of star formation in them. And this one with its dark dust lane swirling out and around. Although it's not clear that there are spiral arms in there. It's definitely a spiral galaxy. So, but a nice bright core. And the hammer, with its wispy outer edges and a nice colorful core, bisected by the dark dust lane going around the outside. It's between us and the edge of the galaxy. Three very cool galaxies. Okay. Let's go see what the little pinwheel looks like. Let's go check out the little pinwheel. Plate solve on that sucker. Bring it into view. Okay. So what are you shooting tonight, Greg, and you said galaxies, but anything specific? The little pinwheel, NGC 3180. NGC 3180. Wikipedia does not seem to have an entry on the little pinwheel. Oh, it is a pretty one. Look at that. Got some nice structure in the arms. Obviously, we're going to need to suck in a few more photons to clear it up a little and brighten it up a little bit, but it's not too bad a start. M86. All right. Arcarians. Yeah, that's all on the wrong side of the meridian for me at the moment. Eventually I'll get over there. Well, I should say, eventually they'll get over to me, but I might not hit that tonight. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Nice yellow star up here. Greg, were you planning on going up to Cathedral Gorge this weekend? I was pretty bummed that the weather basically made it not worth it. We've got a gorgeous night here tonight in Eastern California and Southern Nevada. but the rest of the weekend is supposed to be a windstorm. So the Las Vegas Club a couple times a year gets up to Cathedral Gorge, which is a state park a couple hours north of Las Vegas, for our camp out and star party, and it was supposed to be this weekend, but the weather did not cooperate. So, but we got one good night, you know, and up there tonight would have been fine, but for me it's 4 hours of driving each way and just, you know, setting everything up and breaking everything down. It's not worth it for one night. For the weekend, it's totally worth it, but not for, oh, you have to work weekends. Oh, how fun is that? But anyway, I was pretty bummed that we didn't get to go up this weekend. But oh well, at least I got tonight. I'm broadcasting tonight because I'm not up there, so I guess that's kind of a good thing. I guess that's kind of a good thing. You're off Monday through Wednesday. So you get 3-day weekends every week, huh? Guess that's not too much to complain about. Hmm, 3180. I wonder why. They have is the regular pinwheel, which is M101, which we looked at on Sunday night. But nothing for the little pinwheel or NGC 3180, which is very interesting. You took about 1 hour south of Vegas, managed to shoot Centaurus A. Yeah, you know, actually I was thinking of doing that tonight too. I did that last night. I did Centaurus A. Came out pretty well. I think it's still... Where are you? Is it down here? Yeah, there it is. The other Hamburger Galaxy. So I guess I could do both Hamburger Galaxies in one night. But yeah, so I got about maybe another little about half an hour or so. I might go and try and do that. It came out pretty decent last night, and tonight the conditions so far are better than last night, at least in terms of the breeze. So it doesn't look like there's any clouds down there, so I'm actually give that a shot again tonight. Yeah, In-N-Out, my favorite. And ironically enough, the nearest In-N-Out is in Vegas to where I'm at. So we call them 80-mile burgers out here because you got to drive 80 miles to go get one. But it's my favorite burger joint too when I get into town. Getting ready to pull 17 days straight at work starting next Tuesday. Ooh, fun. My schedule changes all the time. Of course, the one problem with trying to do Centaurus A tonight is that I'm on the wrong side of the meridian. So maybe I won't do it tonight. It'll actually be better in about a month anyway, because it'll be just a little bit higher. Right now it's only about 10 degrees above my horizon, 10 and a half. I think last night I got up to like 10 3/4 of a degree off my horizon. So it's still pretty darn low and in the soup, but it came out halfway decent. So I wasn't upset by it last night. It worked out pretty well. Greg's flipping out. Greg's flipping out. If I'm going to do Centaurus A, I'll have to flip out too, but yeah, I don't know. Problem is, that kind of blows my plan, because then I'm trying to catch all this stuff as it comes across, so if I'm sticking with that plan, I'd have to go across and then come back across again. I think I'll save Centaurus A for next time. Pretty cool looking galaxy. Like I said, I like doing that a bit closer to the equinox, the solstice, because it just gets it up just a little bit higher in the sky, and every fraction of a degree helps. It's the same height if you just shoot later. This time of year is better because it's cooler and there's not quite as much turbulence near the ground at midnight. Well, there is that. Little pinwheels coming out pretty nicely, though. I don't know. What do you think, Curtis? You think doing the luminous only has made a difference? I guess the only real way to tell that would have been to shoot the same target over again, see if it really was any different. Sharpens the luminance only. Does that mean it does not sharpen any of the other color channels? Oh, Greg, thanks for stopping by. Good of you to come in and say hi. And I will see you next time. Maybe one of these days I'll catch one of your broadcasts. I just wish I got notification of them. Oh well. Have a good night. Alright, well there's 15 minutes on that guy. There's 15 minutes on the little pinwheel, so now we've got a whole bunch of stuff coming across here. M98. M99. I can almost get those in the same view, but not quite. The silver streak. Can almost get them in the same view, but not quite. Just barely too big. If I could spin my view, spin the camera, that might work, but in this case, not so much. So let's say adios to the little pinwheel. Good night, Greg. Target. All right. Did I? Okay, I just got distracted here. I think. Yeah, I just totally screwed this up. Okay, I didn't actually go anywhere. I need to actually move the mount. Yeah, I'm still on the little pinwheel. Okay, let's actually go to M98 now. Yeah, Greg, I just posted my broadcast tonight in it, so it'll actually be up pretty close to near the top of the EAA forum. It should be up pretty close. So, but it's not a pinned thread anymore, so you just click into it, go to the last page, and just bookmark it, which is what I do. And then whenever I want to make a broadcast announcement in it, I just use the bookmark to go get it. But yeah, it's a good way to let the CN folks know that you're going to be doing a broadcast. Yeah, it was getting, I guess they unpinned it because it just wasn't getting that much use. I mean, and quite frankly, if you look at the last, I think I am the last, at least 8 or 9 of the last 10 posts in that thread. I mean, I'm the only one who's been keeping it alive. I think one other person may have announced in it. I haven't seen Corey announce a broadcast in there in forever. Doug, basically got in a tiff with the management, so he no longer broadcasts. Well, he no longer announces, and he is not part of the community. Gary, same thing. He got into a tiff with the leadership, and so he doesn't announce on there anymore. I mean, all these guys were broadcasting when I first started, and they're all gone. So. But it's just got so little use because all these guys went away, and so now I'm the only one who kind of really even uses it. I can't imagine I'm the only one who's broadcasting, but nobody just seems to be announcing it anymore, so. Alright, so what do we got? This is M98. Let's see what we can see about Messier 98. An intermediate spiral galaxy. This one's 45 million light years away. Discovered by Pierre Marchand in 1781. He had a busy year that year. along with nearby M99 and M100, and was catalogued by compatriot Charles Messier 29 days later in his Catalogue des Nebulae et des Amas Étoiles. It has a blue shift denoting ignoring of its fast other movement. Yikes, that's awkwardly written. It has a blue shift denoting ignoring of its fast other movement, vectors of proper motion. It is approaching at approximately 140 kilometers per second, so this one's coming at us. And it's only 45 million light years away, so watch out. Its morphological classification indicates it's a spiral galaxy that displays mixed barred and non-barred features, with intermediate to tightly wound arms and no ring. About 750 million years ago, it may have interacted with the large spiral galaxy M99, which we're going to look at here in a few minutes, which are now separated only by a little over 1.25 million light years. So, may have interacted with M99. This guy here. And M100 is up here. And all of them are just a little bit too far apart to catch in one field of view. So, look at these fuzzy guy here, another fuzzy guy there. Definitely got more galaxies in this view. Time to move to Twitter, a place I have never been and know nothing about. Twitter, IG, I don't know anything about either one of those things. I guess I'm too old to be a Twitterer or an Instagrammer. to see what else we've got in here. Bright star. There's a nice fuzzy galaxy. 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 One there. Looks like a faint one there. See how I did. Quite a few. There we go. Just gotta set it up. Yeah, go away. Quite a few in there. There's sort of a trio right there. 1, 2, 3. Oliver would like to see the histogram. Well, actually, my histogram has been out of adjustment the whole night. Now that I see what's going on there, I was fiddling with it last night, watching, doing globs, and so it's been on the wrong setting all night, actually. Son of a gun. Oh well. It was on a setting that's more favorable for globs and not for galaxies. Anyway, so you actually wanted to see it, but yes. That's me histogram. So when I'm adjusting histogram, I try to keep the black level right at the main peak. You know, some people like it a bit over here, which makes a brighter background. Some people like going to the right of the main peak, which gives a much darker background, but clips the blacks a little bit. I try to usually keep it right on the initial peak of the, and then you just kind of drag the mid-level to make it. You drag it left until it brightens the image up, but not so much that it makes it really noisy. So you kind of just play. Curtis wants to start all over from the first object. Well, I think what I'd rather have you do is just like use Photoshop on the whole first hour of this and just, you know, adjust as you'd like. I'm not going to do that. But yes, you're right. If I was a good broadcaster who cared about the quality of my broadcast and what his audience is seeing, I guess I would do that. But tough. Not happening. Make some coffee, yeah. I would have to do that. Although actually the wind that we're going to have this weekend is supposed to actually start tonight, so I'm really delighted that it is like non-existent right now. It's actually quite cool. Because look at all these galaxies in here. Look at them all. All a metric ton of them. Alright, M98. Speaking of which, let's just... moving on. So many galaxies, so little time. Can I get 199 in the same view? What do you think? No. Look at that. Just barely not. Son of a gun. Alright. Virgo cluster pinwheel. Messier 99. Yeah, well, in your case, Oliver, I mean, it's time for you to have coffee. What is it, almost 8 o'clock a.m. your time on Saturday, so you should be drinking coffee. Me, I have coffee now. I'd never get to sleep. But I guess that's what you guys want, right? Redo it all with a proper histogram, you loser. Why does it keep doing that? Just trying to move it, and it's like misinterpreting a double click. Alright, first sub on M99. This is now M99. Ooh, that's an interesting looking little pinwheel, huh? Huh. Definitely a little bit noisy too. Back that off until we get a few more subs in. Curtis says, I've been dreaming about high-altitude balloon telescopes circling the southern hemisphere so we could do remote EAA during the day. Starlink internet. Well, why don't we just put telescopes on the Starlink satellites? Then we wouldn't have to worry about it. Not only would they not be interfering with astronomy, they'd be helping astronomy. Put telescopes on all the Starlink satellites so that the Starlink dishes pointed toward the Earth, the telescopes pointed away from the Earth, and then Elon could rent time on the satellites to amateur astronomers. Multi-purpose satellites that are good for astronomy. What a concept. I'm a genius. Alright, third sub coming in. Zoink. I prefer the nighttime atmosphere with EAA. I like this next to the star, this yellowish star and this bluish galaxy. Speaking of boy, you're pumping more blue in there. Bring that blue down a little bit. I'm trying to get above the clouds. What clouds? It's beautifully clear. Oliver doesn't have any clouds over there. Germany? Nah, they don't have any clouds. This is a pretty cool looking galaxy though. I really like it next to the star too. is definitely a cool little spiral. Oh, thank you, Curtis. Thanks for stopping in and saying hi. Sleep well. Dream of pretty galaxies and stars and whatever else. I don't know how much longer I'll be going. Maybe for a little while. We'll do at least M100, and now that everything's kind of crossed over. Got all this stuff in here. I mean, just oodles more than I can do in one night. It's a pretty galaxy. Wonder what pulled it out of shape. Wonder what's going on around it that it got pulled out of shape like that. Obviously another, looks like an elliptical galaxy there. Don't see any other significantly sized ones around it, but something seemed to have pulled it out of whack. It's definitely an asymmetrical type galaxy. Alright, let's see what M100 looks like. $98, $99. There's 100. Oh, up there. Doing the blow dryer galaxy. The blow dryer galaxy. Mirror galaxy. It's a grand design intermediate spiral. It's one of the brightest and largest galaxies in the Virgo cluster and is approximately 55 million light years from our galaxy. So we've definitely jumped up a distance away. Definitely got its companions. Yeah, we got galaxy there, galaxy there, galaxy here, galaxy there. So it's definitely got its companions in there. Stuff going on with the guiding on that first sub, so I'm gonna settle it out here. Okay. Also called the Mirror Galaxy, it's a grand design intermediate spiral. 55 million light years away. It has a diameter of about 107,000 light years. Which is about 60% as large as our galaxy. It was discovered by Pierre Marchand in 1781, and 29 days later, seen again and entered by Charles Messier in his catalogue of nebulae and star clusters. It was one of the first spiral galaxies to be discovered and was listed as one of 14 spiral nebulae by Lord William Parsons of Rosse in 1850. NGCs 1423 and 1428 are satellite galaxies of 100. The former, 4323, is connected with it by a bridge of luminous matter. 4323. I guess we better bring that, snap it in place. So 4323. So this one here. So these are all right around it. But this one is connected to it via a bridge of luminous matter. After the discovery of M100 by Marchand, Charles Messier made observations of the galaxy depicting it as a nebula without a star. He pointed out that it was difficult to recognize the nebula because of its faintness. William Herschel was able to identify a bright cluster of stars within the quote-unquote nebula during his observation. His son John expanded the findings in 1833 with the advent of better telescopes. He was able to see a round, brighter galaxy. However, he also mentioned that it was barely visible through clouds. William Henry Smythe extended the studies of M100, detailing it as a pearly white nebula and pointing out diffuse spots. It's considered a starburst galaxy with the strongest star formation activity concentrated in its center, with a ring, actually two tightly wound spiral arms, attached to a small nuclear bar of radius 1,000 parsecs, where star formation has been taking place for at least 500 million years in separate bursts. So these are connected. So I guess some of the star field from 100 stretches out and extends to this galaxy here. You got another one down here even. Thanks, Oliver. Good luck shopping. I will see you next time. It's good to see you. Thanks for coming in and spending a couple hours with me. I'm actually probably going to be bailing here in a minute myself, but thanks for coming in. Well, it seems like my grace period has finally come to an end. They've been forecasting breezes, light southerly breezes tonight, and we've had just 2 hours of gorgeous, no breeze at all. It's been warm and beautiful, and just now in these last few minutes, it feels like it's starting to come in. So this will definitely be my last object of the night. Perfect timing. Like I said, the rest of this weekend here is just supposed to be a windstorm, so this was really nice to have this grace period tonight to be able to do this broadcast. It definitely worked out nicely. It almost looks like the blacks are clipped again. Yeah, not really. No, it just looks okay, but you can probably hear it on my microphone. It's definitely starting to pick up a little bit, but it waited until after 11, so that's very cool. We were blessed tonight to have some really nice weather. In the meantime, did you see 4312? I want to look at this guy. Did you see? Because what's it like? This has got some decent detail almost forming in it as well. What did I say? 4312? 4312. Let's see if Wikipedia has anything on 4312. NGC 4312. Yes, it does. It's an edge-on, unbarred spiral galaxy. How can you tell if it's unbarred, barred or unbarred? If it's located about, again, 55 million light years away, so about the same exact distance as M100. It was discovered by William Herschel in 1787. It's a member of the Virgo cluster. It has undergone ram pressure stripping in the past. It may harbor an intermediate mass black hole. That's all I have to say about it. So 55 million light years away. It's the same distance as 100 M100 here. So maybe they have interacted at some point in the past. Yep, just starting to get a nice gentle breeze going. So this timing has been perfect. Graced by a couple of hours, 2.5, 3 hours of very calm, warm weather that has just been delightful to be out in. And provided some good guiding and good images, so that's been wonderful. And now it's just starting to pick up, so it's time for me to pick up and head in. Do a couple of more minutes here and then I will call it a night. Alright, there's my 15 minutes on M100. And it's a pretty companion galaxy. It's got a very nice disk. Unbarred, but just a nice inner disk. That's pretty cool. But there they are. M100. This one here is linked with this one. These two are linked. I guess the star field links continues out here a bit. So these two are actually kind of together. Maybe why this is a bit asymmetrical. These are probably all tugging on each other. In any event, I'm going to call it a night. The breeze is starting to pick up, and I'm done. So, thanks everyone for being here. Appreciate your time, and hope you enjoyed what you've seen tonight, and maybe learned a thing or two. And I will see you all again next time. Thanks again.